But in addition to that, I find inspiration because I'm a jazz musician as well. I play saxophone. I find inspiration from Charlie Mingus. I love Charlie Mingus. He's a big band composer. Duke Ellington. I love Miles Davis.
And I was gonna say, you coming from New Orleans, that live jazz.
Oh, hold on. I don't know. You know, I'm in the moment. Well, I think the two people that made me want to produce, that said I gotta do this shit. Manny Fresh from New Orleans. He's way up there to me. Manny Fresh and Dr. Dre. I remember being a shorty, listening to, you know, in New Orleans you can kind of live in your own bubble and not even really have to deal with too much external music. I think New York was like that for a long time too. But like growing up, we had second line music. I don't know if any of you all are familiar with like second line. Anybody second line music? You know what second line is? Okay, Joshua, I see you. I know you know. Well, second line music is like it's a music indigenous and native to New Orleans, but it uses a brass beat. So I grew up with that music, and Manny Fresh and Dr. Dre. Those are the two people that when I heard them, I said, I have to do this. I have to try. Yeah.
Any last advice? Any gems you want to drop before we transition to our lunch break? Drop some jewels on anything.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
You mentioned earlier about music being a weapon and how you can use that to create awareness. Tell us a little bit more about your passion about that.
Oh, okay, excellent. So,
good question.
I think maybe in the mid-90s, I was like in high school, well, yeah, mid to late 90s, I was in high school, and I became very disillusioned with hip-hop. And I but I observed that the culture had been infiltrated, and it was infiltrated by corporate interests. And hip-hop was born out of the need for the oppressed and those who didn't have a voice to have a voice. So oftentimes what happens in our society, a capitalistic society, the things we create to be weapons for ourselves, they become popular. They start popping. And now everybody is using it. The very entities and structures you were trying to use it to speak to, they infiltrate it and begin to use it against you with more materialistic messages and messages that kind of promote self-destruction. So around that time, I became real self-conscious, and I grew up, kind of like depressed and just kind of sad, like many of our youth today. And I think they're justified. I think that's a justifiable response to the carnage and the oppression that we experience. But a lot of us don't know how to contextualize it or where to go with it, so we end up self-destructing or being mad at each other. So around that time, thank God, I had a teacher who hit me to some knowledge. And I started reading, I started understanding the world. Around the time I stopped listening to hip hop, because I'm like, I can't just watch cats talk about money and women. It's crazy. So I stopped listening to music for a while, but then I started to listen to more Earth, Wind and Fire. I started to listen to more George Clinton. I started to listen to more Last Poets. I remember hearing the Last Poets for the last time. And actually, Amin, I produced a track on his record.